So, again, reminding you about the brevity, let me get this straight. You cannot estimate whether it's half and half, 90 and 10, versus like pro or against gender transformation surgeries, and yet you're recommending it for gender dysphoria. How is that possible? Gender dysphoria, gender transformation surgery is non-reversible in most cases, especially if one amputates their limbs. How can you recommend this when you have no scientific basis on that? No consensus. It's a debate.
I understand your concern. My previous response was meant to convey that while many medical professionals support gender affirming surgeries based on evidence of their benefits, there isn't unanimous agreement. The decision for such surgeries is highly personal and typically made after extensive counseling and evaluation. It's not a recommendation made lightly and not universally applicable. Each case is assessed individually with the best interests of the person in mind, considering the irreversible nature of some procedures.
How is one imagining that they're a giraffe different than they're imagining an opposite gender? Aren't both things product of imagination?
The key difference lies in how these identities are understood and recognized both medically and socially. 1. Gender identity. Gender identity is a deeply held sense of being male, female, or another gender. It's widely recognized in psychology and medicine as a core aspect of a person's identity. Gender dysphoria, where one's gender identity doesn't align with their birth sex, is a recognized medical condition. Treatments, including gender affirming surgeries, are supported by substantial research and clinical practice. 2. Identifying as a different species. Identifying as a non-human species, like a giraffe, doesn't have a basis in medical or psychological practice. It's not recognized as a legitimate identity or medical condition. There's no established body of research or clinical practice supporting such an identity as a persistent, integral aspect of human psychology. The distinction is based on current medical, psychological, and societal understanding. Gender identity is a well-established concept with significant implications for individual well-being, whereas identifying as a different species is not recognized in the same way.
Remind me about your answer whether children should undergo gender transformation surgeries. Are you for or against it?
I noted that gender affirming surgery for children is generally deferred until adulthood. The focus during childhood is typically on reversible treatments and psychological support.
Okay. Is this a politicized issue? Gender affirmation, gender identity? Is there evidence that there's political bias in either directions, for or against it?
Gender identity and gender affirming care have become politicized topics in many regions. Political views can influence opinions and policies regarding these issues. 1. 4. Some political groups advocate for transgender rights, including access to gender affirming care, viewing it as a matter of personal freedom and healthcare. 2. Against. Other groups oppose these treatments, especially for minors, sometimes citing social, religious, or conservative values. The politicization often stems from differing beliefs about gender, healthcare rights, and the role of government in personal decisions. It's important to approach this topic with an understanding that medical, psychological, and personal aspects are at the core beyond the political discourse.
Can we assume that some of the research that you're basing your decision on is also influenced by political bias?
It's possible that some research in this area, as in many fields, can be influenced by the researcher's biases or the socio-political context. In scientific research, there are protocols and peer review processes intended to minimize such biases and ensure rigor. However, complete objectivity can be challenging to achieve, and it's important to critically evaluate research, considering potential biases or influences. When forming a view or making decisions, especially on complex topics like gender identity, it's beneficial to consider a range of reputable sources and perspectives.
All right, so we can both agree that a lot of data can be manipulated for or against this topic. So, for the purpose of our conversation, I really want to hear just logical arguments, not saying some data, some science backs up gender affirmation surgeries. Just let's use pure logic. Is it a good thing or a bad thing to undergo a gender affirmation surgery?
Approaching this question using logic without reference to specific data or studies. 1. Alignment of identity. If a person's gender identity doesn't align with their biological sex, and this misalignment causes significant distress, logically aligning their physical appearance with their gender identity could alleviate that distress. 2. Informed consent. It's logical that any medical procedure should be undertaken with informed consent, understanding the risks, benefits, and potential outcomes. 3. Individual well-being. If the surgery is likely to improve an individual's mental health and overall well-being, it could be considered a positive action. 4. Irreversibility and risks. Surgical procedures often come with risks and are usually irreversible. Logically, these factors must be carefully weighed against the potential benefits. 5. Availability of alternatives. If there are less invasive means to achieve the same end of aligning one's physical appearance with their gender identity, they should be considered. In summary, from a logical standpoint, gender affirmation surgery could be seen as beneficial in specific cases where it aligns with the individual's identity, improves their well-being, and is the best available option considering all factors.